Good morning, everybody. This is going to be my new series of coaching. I do read tarot cards, I do life coaching, I have done coaching on law of attraction, but I personally am in my new era of empty nest and being a grandma for the first time, and I just want to share that with you and kind of help you through that too. My daughter moved out in 2018, I believe it was, and then my son moved out in 2023. These dates are so funny. But both, and you just have this whole thing too when they start driving, because I don't know about you, but my teenagers were involved in stuff, and there were times when I was like leaving the house 5 or 6 times to take or pick up, practice, meetings. My son was in drama, daughter was, president of her class. It just gets crazy. I remember just thinking, geez, it's going to be so nice when I have freedom. And then my daughter got her driver's license, and I was like, wait a minute. That was our time together. Now I never see her. But anyways, I go off on these little tangents, so you'll just have to work with me. So I made some notes of what I want to talk about. So basically, this video is you're allowed to completely start over in your life. A lot of us moms, especially empty nest moms, are like, what do we do now? The kids are gone. The husband's at work. I was a stay-at-home mom. I've always had extra jobs. I'm a reseller of clothing. I still do that. I've always had like little janitorial jobs, or at one point I did like samples at Walmart. So I always had little jobs to keep me busy, and I always kept my interests going. But my kids and my family and my house were my main focus. That all of that stuff came first, and the other stuff came second. And now it's like I come first. Like, they're grown. They have jobs, they're paying their bills, they're doing all the stuff. So you just kind of have to give yourself permission to start over and make that decision to do that. Make that decision to not feel like you have to, call and bug them every single day. Although my grandson is just a month old, so I am kind of calling and bugging my daughter every day. But that's just grandson stuff. So you got to make that decision, and you have to know that there's going to be blocks, because when you try to do something new, I'm just going to do a quick little story or an explanation about our programming, our subconscious mind, because we have the conscious mind that we can see, and I'm talking, and I made the decision to come in here and make this video, and I just started a load of laundry. Like, I know all that stuff's going on, but there's all this stuff that's like 10 or 15% of what your brain's doing. The rest of it is subconscious. It's keeping your heart beating, it's keeping your nerves. It's, if you decide to get up and walk across the room, you don't have to think about like, okay, I'm going to have to spin this chair so I can get out from behind this desk. I'm going to have to get one leg out, and I'm going to have to work those muscles to stand up. Like, if we worked that way, if we had to use our conscious mind to like keep our heart beating, we'd die in like 2 minutes, because you get distracted. You'd be like, oh, what's that outside? And then you'd be like, So your subconscious keeps all this other stuff running physically, but it also keeps all this stuff running emotionally and mentally. So when you're like, oh, well, I've been a stay-at-home mom, or I've been even if you're a working mom and your kids were still your like whole life. I know I was a stay-at-home mom, but I know tons of working moms that still after work run around like a chicken with their head cut off to practices and meetings and all this stuff for their kids, and finally getting home and crawling in bed and just passing out of exhaustion. And then when that's not there anymore, you're like, what do I do? Even if you have your job, like, what else do I do? Do I just come home and twiddle my thumbs? Like, how do I cook for just me and my husband, or just me? It gets a little chaotic, and it's hard to transition into that without feeling totally lost. So I just feel like I want to help other women reinvent themselves once the kids are grown. And they don't even have to be grown. They could just be teenagers off doing their thing. They're not your little, cuddly babies anymore. They're like, ew, mom, don't kiss me in front of my friends, or don't hug me, or, whatever. So, and what was I going to say? So here's what I wrote down. I'm here to help you reinvent your life, income, and identity after burnout, boredom, or just feeling lost. And I feel like a lot of that comes with the empty nest, like those 40 to 60-year-old or older or younger. I know some of us, I had my first at 24. No, 26, sorry. So anyways, I just want to be here to give you permission to restart your life, do something new, find those hobbies again, find your passions again. There's nothing wrong with still wanting to be involved in your kids and your grandkids and all that, but you have to be yourself. And there's ways to even make money doing that. Like I started out selling on eBay in 1999. My daughter was 2 years old. She had some little white Nikes that a friend of ours bought her for, I don't even remember if I got them for the baby shower or when she was born or whatever. They were so flippin' cute. But of course, babies, she outgrew them so quick. And I was like, I kind of wish I would have kept them, because I kept her little walking shoes, the little hard-soled ones that nobody uses anymore. But I wish I would have kept those little Nikes. But I sold them on eBay. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, I come from that background. My mom and dad had an antique store. We always went garage sailing and thrifting. But I never really put two and two together until I sold those Nikes, and then I was like, wow, I have stuff in my closet I'm not using. I have stuff around the house I'm not using. I started selling everything. The kids and my husband were like, hey, when I put these shoes right here, it doesn't mean they're ready to sell. It means I'm just setting them there, so don't sell them. It became kind of like that. And then I rediscovered garage sailing and thrifting, and I was like, oh, I can go get stuff for $1 and sell it for $50. And not every sale is like that, but some are. I just bought a sweatshirt a couple weeks ago at the thrift store for about $1.30, $1.50, and sold it for $125. So it's a really lucrative business. But I also do it because I love it, and I want you to find what you love. I love also coaching people. I love showing people that happiness can be an everyday thing for you, that you can choose to be happy. You don't have to wait to be happy. You can be happy right now. So I'm just here to tell you all of that. I would love for you to follow me. You'll see it, but it's Creating Happy Mondays, because I feel like everybody should have happy Mondays instead of sad, sucky Mondays. And I'm just going to be doing a few videos a week on this, and I would love for you to follow me. I will probably end up doing an email list so I can start a newsletter, but I haven't got that far yet. But just hang in there. I'm doing it one step at a time. I encourage you to follow me. Have a great day. Like this video. Bye.